Aloha, everybody, and welcome to Spirit Chat Radio. So today I wanted to do a post on Mercury Retrogrades because I keep getting a lot of questions about them, and people are wondering, do I feel sensitive to them? Do I believe in them? Is it affecting everybody else the way they think it's affecting them? Everybody hears about it and they just think bad, bad, bad. And so I wanted to do a blog talk on this, on what I do and if that affects me, etc., etc. So the simple answer is yes. It affects me. It affects most all people. Some people are aware of it. Some people are not aware of it. But this particular group that I do, the Higher Purpose Learning Group, is filled with a lot of sensitive people who's a lot of empaths, a lot of people who are developed psychically, and they're very sensitive to their surroundings, and they tend to very much notice when we're in some type of Mercury retrograde. Now, frankly, Mercury retrograde that's like a tongue twister. That's not the only thing that affects us. Is that just one specific time of planetary change? There are so many different things that affect us on a planetary level, or with the stars and the tides of the energy and the universe and all that. Anything from full moons to new moons to just all kinds of things. Astrology is a real thing. It's been studied for, I believe it was right around 1950 BC when they started, can date it back to anyway. So it's been around for thousands and thousands of years. But anyway, we're all energy, and in our bodies, they always relate it to like the full moon and stuff, and the tides is we're water. Yes, we're 90% water, but one of the things people forget is we're like 100% energy. So beings that we're 100% energy, anything that affects the movement of energy in a magnetic fashion, a pull, a push, that sort of thing, especially when you're sensitive to it with your own body and your own being, then yes, you're going to feel it and you're going to be affected by it. But one of the things I wanted to mention in regards to any type of moon phases or retrograde or any of those things, I'm specifically, because people ask me about this, I'm specifically sensitive to so many things that I don't even need to put a label on it. I don't need to put full moon, the retrograde, whatever. And so I just wanted to tell you guys what I do to stay sane and keep in balance, whether it's one thing or another, or who even cares what it is. When you're sensitive, like we are, those of you I'm sure who are listening, we just have to deal with things differently. And like, for instance, my kids, they've never been normal children, and that's in a good way. But most of when I was a young mother, all the other mothers, they'd take their kids to the doctor if they had certain things happening with them, and they'd do the traditional medicine and whatnot. My kids would always respond to that somewhat, but because my kids were so sensitive that I had to take them and have their energy adjusted. I had to do very different things and pay attention to their surroundings and their environment, because the Western medicine, which I would always do, you always want to make sure that you knock all the birds out with whatever, or birds, you want to hit it from all angles if your children are sick or you're not feeling well. So you do the Western medicine, but you also do a lot of the other things. And it was really interesting how much that the other things made an effect on my kids, the energetic portion of having them adjusted and paying attention to what environment that they were around and who that they were around and that sort of thing, what type of stress that they were under. That made such a huge difference that I would have to really have a different protocol with my kids. And that's the same way with me. So I'm going to just go over some things that's helpful for me. When I'm beginning to feel off balance, no matter what it is, and you start to feel like an emotional roller coaster, I can usually tell the difference. My protocol is basically the same. I go through a mental checklist, and I rely very heavily on this mental checklist. So since I'm also a very strong empath, but also I've been very aware of this for so long, I still usually know what it is. So the first things I do is I check what type of environment was I in, who was I around, and what type of places had I been in. Well, so some of those are self-explanatory. If I was in a Walmart or at a social event or something like that, then I pick up on a lot of energies and I need to do a lot of grounding work. So that's really important. So that would be one of the first things I do. But let's just say it is something related to the moon or Mercury retrograde, and I haven't even gone anywhere or been out of, because I work from home a lot of times. So let's just say I'd been in my own environment. Everything's, basically going well, but I can feel that emotional roller coaster coming on, and I can just feel that edgy energy that you get. My mental checklist is still the same. The first thing that I will do is I will do a clearing on myself and my home. And so I have a very specific clearing that I do. It's an angel clearing. And that's the one that I do for myself. Now, for those of you who don't know or haven't signed up for this class, I actually teach a lot of these things in my spirit. I'm sorry, not my spirit. That's my second class that I'm starting to work on, actually. So I kind of got them jumbled together. My psychic ability class. And if you don't know about it or haven't heard about it, you can go to psychicabilityclass.com and you can get on the wait list, because this class I only offer every few months and it fills up really quickly, and then I close the class until next time. And right now it's in session, but I am getting ready to open it up again. So some of these things, or a lot of these things, I do actually teach in the class and give you sheets and that sort of thing. So I do a clearing on myself and my home. That is one of the first things that I do. So I do the angel clearing on myself. I do a regular clearing on my home, where I go through each room. I do it with incense. You can do it with sage or any of that sort of thing, but I do a clearing throughout my entire house. The second thing that I do, which people don't really talk about very much when it comes to retrogrades and all that, because I think that a lot of people feel out of control when they think that it's something that's happening to them. A lot of people think that moon, tide, retrogrades, that sort of thing, it's happening and we're just going to have to weather the storm until it just stops happening. Well, that is true, but you can weather the storm differently than other people weather the storm. So, even if you were in an actual storm and it was just pouring down rain, or it was snowing and your power went out, you can either be prepared and handle it one way, or you can not be prepared and handle it a different way and have a whole different experience. So visualizing would be a lot of your experience of how that's going to go down. And so that's the second thing I do. If I'm feeling very off balance and I can feel all the energy shifting around me and feeling kind of chaotic, I make a point to do visualization in the morning and at night. I do it while I'm in bed, usually before I get out of bed, and while I go to sleep, because I find that that's become a routine for me. And I love to visualize when I'm just waking up, and I love to visualize when I fall asleep, because that's when my time, I'm relaxed. I don't have any distractions with kids or, people needing me for whatever reason. So that's a good time for me to visualize. And what I do as far as visualization goes is I decide that if I've been having some rough days because they've been roller coaster-ish weird energy, I don't want to continue to make that same day, keep recreating that same day over and over, like the movie Groundhog Day. I'm not down with that. So I make a conscious effort to visualize my days changing. So, and you have a lot of control over that. People don't realize how much control that you really, really have over your life when you're visualizing. And so I will visualize, let's say I had a rough day. So the next day I decide I don't want to have a rough day. I want to feel like the day just went easier than normal and I'm pleasantly surprised. And by the end of the day, I'm feeling more energy than normal, and I'm just feeling relaxed, like, wow, really good things happened today. I don't visualize the events of the day. I visualize how I want to feel at the end of the day. I let the events of the day kind of spontaneously happen as the universe decides that it should happen to get me to my end goal, which is that feeling of how I feel at the end of the day. And so I will visualize watching TV at the end of the day, or sitting in a chair, or going to bed and being like, wow, I felt so good today, or things went really well today. It felt nice. It felt good. Things felt like they flowed so easy today. And I will do that every day, morning and night. But usually for me, I've been visualizing for so long that it doesn't take me very long to change my next day via visualizing. So I will notice changes immediately. But that is one thing I have to catch myself at, because in a Mercury retrograde type of thing, for me, my electronics start freaking out. I have a hard time with electronics, and so I will have websites shut down. Here's a good for instance. I was on the phone for 4 hours today with Bluehost, and normally they are extremely helpful. I can get through to them all the time, but I was so frustrated by the end of this 4-hour time frame, and I do a lot of my business via digitally, through the computer. And so when these types of things happen and my computers start not agreeing with me, and my websites and my emails and things start shutting down, I feel like I'm just spinning my wheels and not getting anywhere. So it leaves me feeling very frustrated. So that's one of my least favorite things that happens during these time frames. But I will, like tonight, I will start visualizing how well my computers work and how everything's just flowing really well, and I'm getting a lot of stuff going. And so that will be one very specific thing that I know is related to the Mercury retrograde. It just is. It always is. But if I don't catch myself, what happens is I'll just get continuously frustrated. Then the next day, more computer stuff will happen. So I have to catch myself. In other words, I will look to catch myself, because I just don't want to repeat that over and over again. And then the next thing I will do is I will ramp up protection energetically and psychically. So I have some energetic meditations for this, but like a bubble meditation that I will do. I will definitely ramp up protection with my angels, with my bubble meditation, and I will just use that as a buffer for any outside energies that are trying to be like wavy towards me and that sort of thing. So definitely I will ramp up protection. The next thing that I find that's, is always helpful no matter why you're feeling off balance, because let's face it, we could be having the astrological issues, and then we could be having a we went to Walmart issue at the same time. So you want to just be very aware that a lot of these things will clear up a lot of these issues regardless of what it is, and that's why I have my mental checklist. And so my next thing is the grounding myself. I use water and incense for that. And what I like to do with the water is one is take showers. You can also wash water or run your hands underwater. One of my favorite tricks in the whole world that I tell people, especially empaths, is when you're out and you can't get to water, one of the best water grounding tricks ever, or like not get to water, but get into the shower, is to take something cold or like out of a fridge, out of a cooler, whatever, or to go into a faucet and let's say you're at the mall or at a kid's soccer game, you get something cold or go into the bathroom, run your hands under cold water and put the water right on the back of your neck. You put it right where your fifth chakra is, and that will ground yourself almost immediately. You will feel different. Ice, water, cold, doesn't matter what it is. Put it right on the back of your neck and you will feel it within 10 seconds, you will feel grounded very immediately. So that's another really cool thing. But if it's happening where it's like more of a planetary thing, I also like to, showers are really good, making sure that you maybe take more than you normally would. Just run the water how it feels, if it feels better cold, if it feels better warm, whatever. And you know what's really good for that also is musky, like bath gels or something, any type of shower gel. The flowery ones can work. Musky ones tend to work better. So if you have that stuff going on, and I like to burn incense when I take showers too. So just around your bedroom, anywhere that you're gonna feeling very relaxed, your bedroom, your living room, kitchen, you can run it all the way through your entire house, but I like to run it through the places that I'm kind of chilling at towards the end of the night. And so I ground myself with water and the incense. The next thing that I do is I double check my diet. You no matter what, you always want to double check your diet when you're feeling off, even psychically. And that doesn't mean drink more water and eat less red meat, because I hear this a ton and people ask me all the time about the red meat thing. That doesn't mean that. Everybody's body's different and they need different nutrients. What that means is double check your diet and make sure that you are getting good nutrients specifically to your body. So, like, for instance, I'm not a huge meat eater anyways, but I usually need a lot of vegetables, and that's what I crave. And so other people, I can tell when I need protein, though. So it's not, I don't cut protein out of my diet. It's just not something I love. But there's too much processed foods right now, and people are really not aware that the processed foods is basically like eating cardboard. So if you've been eating out too much fast food wise, or you've just been very busy and doing too much box foods, just double check your diet and, try the 80-20 rule. Try to eat healthy 80% of the time, eat out, or eat the processed stuff 20%. Just double check it. If you're off on your nutrients, then just cut back on some box stuff and start eating some more fresh stuff. That's a really good way to double check your diet, and what works for you. You know what's good for you to have. The last thing that's really important when it comes to any of these things is exercise. That helps immensely because it helps any stuck energy in the body flow freely. And it helps everything just sort of detach from you and just keep a fresh energy coming in your body and going out of your body, but it's also grounding. And so that will be the next thing that I double check is, how have I been doing on my exercise? We exercise several times a week, and I have to do that because I tend to sit a lot when I'm working on projects, and so in order to make sure that I'm not slacking, I have to sort of have a schedule. But that doesn't mean I don't slack, just like the rest of you guys. Like, I have other things and then it gets in the way. So that's definitely something I check is, have I been slacking on my exercise? And sometimes I haven't, and I'll still ramp up my exercise and add another day in, just to kind of get myself back in alignment. Especially, and I just will repeat this a lot, but if you're an empath, that's really, really important. So I'm going to go over this again. When it comes to Mercury retrograde, absolutely, it's a real thing. 100% it affects a lot of people. It affects them differently. I never tend to just be like, oh my God, Mercury retrograde is coming. I just don't really think of it that way because I am just very aware of a lot of things. I can feel really good or really crappy regardless of Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde just tends to really hate my electronics. So, but that being said, you just want to be prepared no matter what is happening for those emotional roller coasters, because we are 100% energy and we are affected by a lot of things. We're affected by other people, and we're affected by tides, and we're affected by energy. So to run through the list, I rely heavily on my checklist, which is I do a clearing on myself and home. I do visualizing in the morning and at night. Ramp up my protection energetically and psychically. I ground myself with water and incense. I double check my diet, and I make sure that I get the exercise. If I've been slacking, sometimes I ramp it up on that. So the last thing I'd like to let you guys know is we are redoing my Keys to the Spirit World website, and I have a lot of courses I've been working on. For those of you who have been following me for a while, I already have my Psychic Ability class on psychicabilityclass.com up. You have to get on the wait list for that because I do close it. It does get filled. The next class I'm working on is my Spirit Communication class. My Keys to the Spirit World website is being redone right now, but there's some very cool stuff that you're going to find on there, and there's going to be a mini course that's going to be for free on there. So I will let you guys know when that's coming up. But, you can get on my Facebook page. My Higher Purpose Learning Group is a super fun group where we talk about these things all the time. And I answer questions, and you can email me if you have questions, and a lot of times I'll answer those as well. You can get to my Higher Purpose Learning Group by going to my website. I believe that there's a link to click on. It'll either be Spirit Community or Higher Purpose Learning. So until next time, hopefully you guys weather the storm just as well as I have. I'm not sure what we can do about the electronics though, but I'm working on that with my visualizing, and I know it gets better every time I do the visualizing. So I will catch you soon, and until next time, I hope to see you guys in my class. All right, aloha.
Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest. Life comes at you fast, which is why it's important to find some time to relax. A little you time. Enter Chumba Casino. With no download required, you can jump on anytime, anywhere for the chance to redeem some serious prizes. So treat yourself with Chumba Casino and play over 100 online casino-style games, all for free. Go to ChumbaCasino.com to collect your free welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Black Friday is coming, and for the adults in your life who love the coolest toys, well, there's something for them this year too. Bartesian is the premier craft cocktail maker that automatically makes more than 60 seasonal and classic cocktails, each in under 30 seconds at the push of a button. And right now, Bartesian is having a huge site-wide sale. You can get $100 off any cocktail maker or cocktail maker bundle when you spend $400 or more. So, if the cocktail lover in your life has been good this year, or the right kind of bad, get them Bartesian. At the push of a button, make bar-quality cosmopolitans, martinis, Manhattans, and more. All in just 30 seconds. All for $100 off. Amazing toys aren't just for kids. Get $100 off a cocktail maker when you spend $400 through Cyber Monday. Visit Bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.